say it all. The front pages in England, never in doubt. The history boys, the hand of George after Jordan Pickford's heroics in the penalty shootout win against Colombia. And it has led to this, gents, which is what I want to talk about. Odds to win the 2018 World Cup now have Brazil. They've always been the favourites, haven't they, all along? Now then, England have joined France. These are according to UK odds makers at 4-1 to win it all, ahead of Belgium, ahead of Croatia, ahead of Uruguay. Russia and Sweden are the rank outsiders according to these odds makers. Whoa, boy. What was once hope, I think, for England heading into a tournament has now become something a little different. Expectation is...
I think most England fans, when you look, we keep going on about this, that this side of the bracket all the time, or this side of the group stage, they feel that they should beat Sweden. If they do beat Sweden, they've got a really tough game probably in Croatia if they beat Russia, because Croatia have played well in this tournament. They weren't as impressive last game, but they've been impressive throughout the tournament. So it's not a walk in the park by all means. And then they're still going to have to meet one of the better teams on the other side eventually. So, like I suggested, they need to. It's brilliant where England are, and it's fantastic the fact that they could beat Colombia, Sweden, and Croatia and reach a World Cup final. They'll never have it as easy as this, I think, in the future. But they've still got a long way to go, and they have to play better than they did yesterday.
Steve, I know you haven't had a chance to weigh in yet on England's performance. For what you've seen from them in the group and against Colombia yesterday, what justifies that 4-1 odds that you were seeing?
Only because of the bracket they're in. You know, they've played well enough to get where they are. They haven't been scintillating, but considering when the tournament started, nothing was expected, then obviously, you know, the expectations beginning to rise, but you just got to calm down a little bit. The fact is, they've actually lost the game already to Belgium. You could argue it was the reserve sides, and they've beaten Tunisia and Panama. I mean, really, that should have been a given anyway. And Colombia without the star man. So, you know, they haven't exactly torn apart the best opposition in this tournament. So I think we should just cool the jets a little. They've done well. They've done enough, but that's all they've done so far.
People getting carried away, Craig, in your mind?
No, I mean, I think it's understandable. Pundits are getting carried away, some of them. Supporters, certainly, some of the journalists. But it's almost like... And I totally understand that. Like, you've had the Iceland result, which was a disaster in the Euros. You had bottom of the group in Brazil World Cup, which just isn't good enough from an England perspective. So I can understand it. But the upside is I think England can play better than what we've seen. Although Harry Kane's got a hatful of goals, most of them from penalties, there's still more to come from this England team. So I would be pretty positive about it. But
well, they should be. And they're playing Sweden, by the way. You know, they're not playing a team that are going to outplay them. The only way England lose this...
They're not playing Brazil, they're not playing Belgium.
No.
You know, they're playing Sweden.
Yeah, the only way they lose this is if they get bullied. Because if they don't get bullied, they'll win this game, because they're better than Sweden.
I actually thought they would come a cropper to Colombia. We did all these predictors, 300 of them, whatever. I had a 1-0 win, just because I thought South Americans, tough, gritty, all the tricks, with a little bit of flair. And England's recent knockout stage results hadn't been great. I mean, it almost went that way. But now they're over that. Now they've got the penalty thing out of the way as well. I think they'll beat Sweden. I really think it's going to take a bad England performance or some disastrous individual mistakes not to get to a semi-final.
Gab Marcotti is with us too from Moscow. Gab, give us your latest assessment on England, whether you think those odds are fair and how you think they're going to get on against Sweden.
Well, I mean, look, I think the odds are what they are because of the draw, as you guys mentioned, right? I think there's probably 3 teams that on paper are probably better than England, and they all happen to be on the other side of the draw, and it's Brazil, Belgium, and France. So because of that, the run to the final seems clear. We've seen this so many times before, people getting overexcited and people making a big deal out of the penalties and the psychological block, but you know what? Most of these guys haven't lost on penalties before in a major tournament, so I don't even know how much of a block it was for them. I think, well, you take the positives, and one was they were generally unflappable. I thought they were mentally very strong in a game that could have boiled over Colombia. They showed toughness. They got the better of a different type of opponent from the ones that they faced before, and onwards and upwards. But having watched a lot of Sweden in this tournament, I agree, they're not particularly good. They got through on a deflected goal. They even qualified for the World Cup, as I, as an Italian, sadly know, because of a deflected goal. But I'll tell you what, they're organized, they're disciplined, they are big, they never give up. And as you guys were saying, you really don't want to underestimate Sweden or look past them and think that you're already in the semi-final. That would be a really big mistake.
We asked all of you guys to pick your moment of the World Cup so far, and I think you've gone for the...
Well, only because it's the penalty situation after conceding in such dramatic fashion for the equaliser, and then to get to penalties, and with the history they've got, as Gab said, a lot of these players haven't been involved in penalty shootouts, so it means nothing to them. But the baggage that we've carried as an Englishman around with you, you're forever getting told, oh, penalties, oh, you're going to lose penalties. You know, it's forever, you're getting hit with a stick with it. So for them to finally get through it and hopefully banish the talk of losing, you know, on penalties. Everybody always talks about the negative part. So the fact that they have got through this time, you know, it'll stand them in good stead in the future.
And in particular, I think you thought Eric Dyer, the way he...
Well, the fact that Jamie Vardy supposedly was going to take the last penalty, he takes them for Leicester, doesn't he? And then he had a groin problem, so couldn't. Eric Dyer stepped up. I thought all the Tottenham lads took their penalties really well. Eric Dyer didn't have the greatest time on the pitch, actually. He missed a good header, gave the ball away a fair bit. So it took a huge amount of courage from him, and his mentality was very, very good to step up and take the winning penalty.
By contrast, Mr. Nichols' best moment of the World Cup so far came from the same game, did it not?
Yeah, me as that. Well, it's the first time I was off my chair. Me and the wife.
For Yerry Mini's stoppage time equivalent.
You and the wife.
Aye, Helen was the same. We were both off the chair. And it was a great header. Listen, England deserved to win the game. I absolutely believe that. And the penalties will get... What would Trippier's penalty? I mean, my goodness. You could have stuck 2 goalies in there. But for the moment so far of the tournament, that was the one. I was off my seat.
Didn't think it was coming either, did we? That was
You wouldn't think you lived in England for all those years.
I know.
Bitter man.
I was sent there to educate. That's why I went to England.
Well, let's go to the other Scotsman, Craig.
There's so many.
A moment of the tournament.
I tell you, one moment I liked, because I thought it was going to turn it round for them, was the Tony Kroos free kick at the end of the Sweden game. Did that keep them in the tournament?
Yeah.
Germany did, basically.
So in injury time, that kept them in the tournament. I thought, well, that's it.
Yep.
That's it. That's the moment for Germany. They're going to kick on, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was a beauty, wasn't it? Gab Marcotti, your moment of the tournament thus far. Anything jump out?
Lots of them. I'm going to give you yet another buzzer beater, and it's Belgium's winning goal. The perfect counterattack, I thought, against Japan, capping that incredible comeback.
Got to put a vote in for Korea beating Germany as well for a moment of the tournament. That was
Japan
truly,
didn't vote. Japan didn't vote for that as a moment of the tournament.
Yeah.
Because we're all standing in the penalty area.
Best player of the World Cup so far. Craig, why don't we start with you? You go first, Magger, if you want.
Go on, Magger.
No,
Who wants it? Who wants it?
To be very honest, I chose... when I decided, I chose a couple. Harry Kane, just because he scored 6 in 3 games. But as a player who has done well in each game, I was thinking about someone like Coutinho. I didn't really have a standout pick, but I liked Coutinho and I liked his involvement in the games that I've seen him play for Brazil. He seems to want to create. I prefer the creative players, of course, and he seems to be on the ball all the time and sharp. And I like him, and I like Willian. I think they've done well as in the Brazil sides.
So there hasn't been that many standout individual in the way that James was perhaps 4 years ago. He kind of leapt off the page.
Well, Mbappe was a great game against Argentina, wasn't it? But maybe a little quieter than some of the others. Coutinho's been great. I just thought I went for Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Maka mentioned his goals. Okay, there's a load of penalties. Opposition wasn't great at the start, but the way he handled all the nonsense ahead of the penalty in real time in the Colombia game, where they were trying to mess up the penalty spot. Geiger couldn't get it under control. He must have had to wait, I don't know what it was.
3.5 minutes, yeah.
3.5 minutes. Still slot it away, under pressure, playing for England as the captain, and then steps up in the penalty shootout and repeats it again, whilst having a pretty good game, and his hold-up play in particular. and his strength were excellent. I think he's been a leader in more ways than one for England in this tournament.
Are England too dependent on him, Macca? I mean, if he doesn't score, who's going to score for England?
It looks like that. It looks that way at the moment. So we haven't had the opposition, Adrian, have we really, to really see. They made chances against Tunisia. They should have scored more. Of course, they scored a load against Panama. So that would say that everybody, Lingard and Sterling, can all chip in. But judging on the Colombia game, England didn't make many chances in that Colombia game. And Harry looked as if he was the one, if we were going to get a chance, he was the one who was going to score it. So we'll wait. The answer is we'll wait and see. I hope not. I hope other people will chip in. They have done so far, but against better opposition, we'll wait and see.
Other than Yerry Mina, who is your player of the tournament?
I went for Modric.
Yeah.
You know, from the first game right the way through to now, he has been at a level consistently that I don't think anybody else has hit. You know, whether it's defending, whether it's passing the ball, whether it's chasing, you name it, this guy's done it. But what impressed me more than anything was to step up and miss a penalty in the knockout game, and then to step up again when it came to the penalty, and to smash it home. That takes a lot of courage.
A lot of players would have
so
wouldn't they?
if you talk about ability, Modric, you talk about courage, I'll go with Modric as well.
Yeah, and you could yet have a World Cup defining display in him too. Gab, best player of the tournament so far?
Yeah, if you talk about courage, I agree. It's Modric. I think overall, though, I'll give you two other names. One, Yerry Mina, simply because of the time he's had at Barcelona. People thinking he was some kind of joke, some kind of circus freak, and then he comes up with, he scores 3 goals in this tournament, 2 of them absolutely huge. And the other one is the guy who I think would probably be the favorite to win it all at the end if France reached the final, because ultimately people decide this stuff based on what happens, based really on who gets to the semifinals, and it's obviously Kylian Mbappe.
Best game. There's been so many to choose from, that perhaps more so than individual performances. Macca?
Well, my best game would have been the Argentina game, Argentina-France, sorry.
Yeah.
Firstly, the quality of some of the goals in the game. It's a huge game anyway. You've got world stars on both sides of the pitch, so this wasn't a team against, a team of underdogs. They were very closely matched. Of course, we were waiting to see what type of Argentina side turns up. But the fact that they went up, France, then were 2-1 down, and then the quality of goals to get them back into the lead, I thought that was the best game on the ice so far. I thought that was really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Spain-Portugal.
Early on. Second day of the tournament, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm the same. When I saw the match-up, I was like, right, I ain't missing this one.
Yeah.
I'm not missing this one. And France just put a marker down. It might be superseded by the big game coming up. Well, they're all big games for the countries, but Brazil, Belgium could supersede it in terms of a spectacle. Who knows?
Stevie?
Same. I went with Spain-Portugal, just from the start to the finish. They're not Portugal.
Same as
Yes. You went Spain-Portugal.
Yeah, I didn't.
Where did you go?
France, Argentina. But yes, he said Spain. He said
It did start with you.
Oh, but
Anyway, forget that. Definitely.
The 3-3 draw, yeah.
Yes, exactly. The 3-3 draw.
Ronaldo free kick.
And actually, listen, I've been giving Ronaldo stick over the last 12 months, saying that he's lost a step and he's lost a yard. And particularly his free kicks over the last 18 months have been horrendous. He's hit more walls than anybody else that's ever taken a free kick. But you know what? Last kick of the game, pretty much. Steps up, buries it in the top corner. Definitely. Spain, Portugal.
I'm going to give it a little nod to Belgium, Japan. For me, that's going to take a lot of topping. Gab, I hope I haven't stolen your thunder. What was your best game of the tournament?
Again, hearing you guys, I mean, there's a whole bunch I could name, but Spain, Portugal, I was there. I thought Spain actually played really, really, really well, unlike in later games. And then you have Cristiano Ronaldo doing what Cristiano Ronaldo does. So, yeah, I got to go Spain, Portugal.
Fair enough.
Lots of good games, mate.
Yeah. It's been good, it's been good.
Going to be interesting to see if it's going to be topped yet by what is still to come. 8 games to go. Biggest disappointment of the tournament? You can go in any direction you want.
I was going to say there's been a few, isn't it? I went with just the team, and it was Germany. You know, because they are the champs, and we expected a lot from them. Even coming into the tournament, their pre-tournament friendlies were really disappointing. Their performances were disappointing. But we didn't believe that they could be as disappointing on the main stage, and they blew it.
The manner in which they crashed.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. But from the manager right down to, you know, the so-called arrogance of the keeper, and the in-house fighting, which seemed to happen from day one, it was a real shock, and they were the biggest disappointment for me.
Would never have predicted it
No.
at all.
Germany.
Yeah.
Never known a German manager in 3 games to make so many changes. It's incredible. You get the wake-up call in the Mexico game. You don't look much better against Sweden. Then Kroos keeps you in it with something that somebody his calibre will do, with that great free kick. And then you think, right, South Korea, come on. Surely to God, the message has got home. They always do it. The message has got home now. It's just go out, get the result done. It'll probably kill Mexico off, and we march on, and then we regroup and we do what Germany normally do. And I was shocked. I mean, I can't believe, by their standards, how bad they were.
Stevie?
I'm going to go against the lads, as bad as Germany were. I'm going to say Argentina, because every time you watch Argentina, you think that it's going to happen. We know how bad they've been recently, but you think with all the talent they have and having Messi, something's going to click and they're going to show us what they're capable of. And even though they qualified somehow, they were just horrendous. And I'm still waiting on them kicking in, and I don't know whether it's ever going to happen.
You've never seen an Argentina side played off the park like they were against Croatia. I mean,
I've never seen an Argentina side look so dishevelled and lacklustre and thoughtless and clueless. You name it, they got it wrong.
They're just a mess, aren't they?
Aye.
And the fact that you can't play Higuain, Dybala, or Aguero, yet you're still getting beaten easily off everybody, it just beggars belief. You know, you think to yourself, how can they not get on the field when they are struggling so badly?
Gab, disappointments. What topped your list?
Yeah. I don't know, guys. You were saying before the tournament how rubbish Argentina were and how lucky they were and how dependent on Messi they were. They still got to the round of 16 and put 3 goals past France, despite the self-destruction. There can only be one most disappointing team of the tournament, and it's the one Macca and Craig picked, and it's Germany, right down to the Korea game, to the Sweden game, where really Boateng should have been sent off for the foul on Marcus Berg early, which would have negated everything that happened afterwards. Mexico wiping the floor with them. This really is the bloodiest of bloody noses. So yeah, biggest disappointment is Germany.
Well, and maybe in other years, with these sort of performances, maybe we would have said Spain. I mean, it's interesting they didn't crop up in that conversation.
Yeah, they were really disappointed as well, weren't they? And it's the end of an era. Well, we've said it on numerous times. It's an end of an era for about 3 or 4 different countries, isn't it? Spain, I think, will turn their team around. Germany will certainly turn theirs. Argentina, you'll see that a cluster of these players will just be retiring now. I think you won't see them again playing for the country, and that's sad to go out like this, but sometimes that happens.
We did actually say they would struggle.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose your manager days before the World Cup starts, what do you expect is going to happen? They're certainly not going to be at their best, and they weren't at their best.
Ronaldo, can I ask you about Kylian Mbappe? He's really broken onto the scene, and so many comparisons have been made to your performances at France '98 before he was even born. How good can he be? How good do you think he is?
I love him. I love the way he plays. He's so young. He's so good, so fast. Well, we will see. He's doing well, and there is a chance to meet France in semi-final. Let's see what's happening, and I wish him to continue to do good.
A repeat of that '98 final that you were involved in. Revenge?
Well, when we play against France, it's tough to Brazil. I hope France can go out before met us, because it's always a tough match. But you know, we have a great team, and we will see what's happening.
Well, a 4th of July edition of FC Extra Time. Look at this, Macca.
Some of us are here.
Craig, Steve, all big purveyors of July the 4th. I know you.
Well, being an
Wait,
English,
what?
being an
Surveyors?
Englishman
Purveyors.
means a lot.
Oh,
To me.
I thought you said surveyors. What are you on about?
Purveyors,
It
surveyors.
means a lot to the English, doesn't it?
It does.
July, you know, so it's very important.
Yeah.
Hot dogs and, you know, a
Fireworks.
few more hot dogs.
You get that any day in Glasgow, can't you?
Yeah. Actually,
I'm half American. I'm
Which? What?
a bit part American, and my friend over here is a full American.
yeah.
You calling me a fool?
Well, yeah.
Over the first day.
Full or fool?
You're not, are
Over
you?
the last
No,
day.
I am. I'm both. I'm US, UK.
Are you?
Both of them.
You're a citizen as
I
well?
have 2 passports, yeah.
Lucky.
So there's no obligation to, I mean,
Hey, show me your passport,
Your
sir.
passport,
There
you
you
got
go.
them in your hand. You bring them to work every day with you.
oh yeah.
Where's your ID? There you go.
I've only got one passport.
There is a hot dog question actually coming up later on,
let's
just to
go
tease you for that. Patrick gets us rolling with Kylian Mbappe. Is he going to leap Neymar to be next best player in the world, leaving Neymar on the dust? Will
What's
it,
that got to do with hot dogs?
will it be? I said there's a hot dog question coming
Later.
a little later.
Oh, sorry.
This is extra time.
Sorry.
We'll do the sensible.
I don't
questions
think.
first.
I don't think yet, but maybe in a couple of years.
It's an interesting
PSG.
because everyone's assumed Neymar will be the next to inherit that crown, and perhaps he won't be.
No, I don't think he will
So
be.
he
actually.
leapfrogged.
Yeah, I don't think he will be. I don't think Neymar's anywhere near as good as Messi or Cristiano or as consistent.
That number 3 slot in the world has been there a long time, hasn't it, behind these two?
Tell you what,
Mbappe.
Neymar is doing his best to actually be not even thought about in those terms. Even now, people are making videos and parodies of him rolling around. I mean, he's becoming known as a bit of a clown. Not. I mean, we should be talking about because the guy's fantastic as a footballer.
Yeah, yeah.
But right now, everybody thinks
He's
he's
starting
just a
to he's
clown.
starting to ostracize people, aren't they? You know, when you say to people, "What do you think about Neymar?" They don't say, "Oh, he's a wonderful footballer and a great goal scorer and this and that." They say, "Oh, you know."
Rolling.
Sigh and just say he's rolled round all the time. He has to get that out of his game as soon as possible.
Yeah.
He's just mumbling to himself.
I was giving it that one.
Yusuf with the question, particularly for Macca. Please ask Steve, which team did he support in this year's Champions League final?
Liverpool.
That's.
That was a tough one.
Next.
Yeah,
Not even a thought there.
To the people who don't know, I work a lot with Liverpool Football Club at the academy and things like that, so I know everybody very, very, very well. So, you know, it's an easy question. I've got lots of friends at Madrid, and the kit men at Madrid, when I was there, were the same kit men there. So, you know, I've got lots of friends there, and it's great to see them do well, but I was definitely supporting Liverpool.
Hey, see Helmet still there?
Yep. Yeah, he's kit man now.
Oh, again? Yeah. So he is, aye. What do you mean again?
How long's he been there? Who
He
was
used to be
this?
the- he was a bus
He used to
driver.
be our bus driver.
Oh,
He
really?
was a bus driver.
Yeah. And now he's like
Graham.
assistant kit manager or something like that.
How
is the
old
title
would he
now.
be now? Is he in that-
Graham must be 60.
Yeah, it must be in the 60s, yeah.
Nice.
It was called Helmet because he came on the bus one day and he just had his hair cut. And it looked as though somebody had put like one of the old German helmets around his head and it stuck.
I remember those haircuts.
It's funny that, isn't it?
years
'Cause when
ago.
I seen him at the final, I said the same thing. Helmet,
Helmet.
Oh, so he's not actually called Albert at all, no?
Hey,
Or he is.
he's
His
not
name's,
German.
his name's Graham, but we call
Not
him
German,
Helmet.
no.
All right, the hot dog question. I did
Yes.
promise you. Nathan chimes in with Joey Chestnut.
Oh, Chestnut, yeah, of course I know who Joey Chestnut
He
is.
ate 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes today. How
Did he
many?
win today? Did he win?
I don't know if he won, but he ate 74 in 10 minutes.
I think he won by quite
He's
a
like
few.
back-to-back champion, is
Yeah,
he? How
yeah,
many
yeah.
could Steve Nicol do? Or is there a different food competition he'd rather enter?
74 bags of crisps in 10 minutes.
74 bags of crisps.
Aye, not hot dogs.
No, you like your crisps, don't you?
Yeah.
I saw him come up with a. You come up with a hot dog earlier, didn't you?
I did actually.
By the way,
How long did it take you to eat?
Oh, it didn't take me 10 seconds, not 10 minutes.
That's one, though.
see the top 5 goals that was in the show. He went down to compile those. I tell you what,
With the hot dog in his hand?
somebody compiled them. He just went down there and nodded his head and came back up with a hot dog and something else.
That was my treat for going down.
Yeah. Joey
Don't pay him in money, they pay him in hot dogs.
So he wouldn't. I don't think he'd beat Joey Chestnut.
No.
I've seen that.
I don't
Listen,
think anyone can beat
The big fishing
He's like
rod.
Helmet. He's been around for
I know, yeah, he's been around for a
decades.
long time, hasn't he?
Yes.
this man's an athlete. He doesn't quaff like that. I mean, look, you don't get a body like that eating 74 damn hot dogs.
Don't be fooled.
74 packets of crisps, aren't you?
Do not be
Don't
fooled.
be fooled by the outer layers.
At your peril.
All right, we got to get out of here because there's some fireworks to light and, you know, all that
Hot dogs to eat.
4th of July stuff. And
My house is not.
yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow with the July the 5th edition of Extra Time and the show for them.
You don't miss much, do you?
Switched on.
Hey, you can't get much past me. ESPN FC available daily on Plus.
Raf, away from the football today, the big story that Marca broke, Cristiano Ronaldo apparently could be going to Juventus. What can you tell us?
Well, Juventus have made an inquiry. I don't know if it's a firm bid. I don't know if they actually sent an email saying we will pay 100 million euros. But that is a number that's being bandied around, and I think it's to do with two things. A, I think it's a good story for Juventus. They're showing that they are prepared to go for that kind of player. It's a big story for them. It would re-establish them, if not in terms of sporting performance, but in terms of maybe importance on the radar as a sort of club that can, once again, after 10, 15 years of being a little bit left behind, attract the real superstars. And of course, this is market making. This is an attempt from Real Madrid to put a price on Ronaldo, and I think the way the story was reported was saying it's the first bid that's come in from him. And I think that tells you a lot, because that's basically Real Madrid saying we expect plenty more, maybe from Juventus, maybe from others, and we're willing to listen. I think this is the first real sign after everything we've heard, Florentino Perez and Ronaldo not looking eye to eye in the wake of the Champions League win, that Real Madrid are for once really serious, that they will sell if the right offer comes in.
The source is interesting here, Maka, and you know the politics of Madrid and the newspapers and Florentino Perez.
Yes, of course.
Basically, when they want you out,
yeah,
then it really could happen.
I know. Well, they need two people to agree, don't they? That yes, the president wanting you out is one thing, but Cristiano has to leave, and whether he's going to swap the sunshine of Madrid for Turin, I doubt it very, very much. It just happened that this story's broken, a day after Spain had been knocked out of the World Cup. There's probably going to be plenty more stories like this. I don't think it'll happen.
But looking at it, they want a bidding war. That's what Raf is suggesting, isn't it? Juventus, the first bid to come in. But 100 million in today's market, where do we stand on Ronaldo at that value?
Well, he's 33. You're going to have to pay him 20, 30 a year, aren't you? So,
yeah.
And what, you're going to give him, a 4-year deal? That's another 120 million in a 4-year deal. So it's not 100 million, it's 220 million for it.
That's good math. Good math.
and he's just going to retire at the end of, he's, albeit he's a superstar, of course, and this season he's been great. But his career naturally is starting to come down, and he's just going to walk at the end of it.
I don't know why he'd want to.
Some outlay that.
I don't know why he'd want to leave Madrid, if he does.
Well, he may not want to leave, but they may want him out.
But as Maka said, it takes two to tango then.
Sure.
Because he can dig in and he can basically... He's holding all the cards, right? He's holding the cards, right? As much as big a club as they are, if he doesn't want to go, if he wants to sit in his backside there and take his money, he can do that. I think there would be some credence to the fact that they may want him out, or he may go somewhere. I'm like Maka, I just don't think it would be Juventus.
Right.
I really don't. I think there are other places that would be much more attractive to him. I think, for example, Man United would be more attractive than Juventus. They've got the money to pay him. He's got the relationship with the manager. And for them, commercially and globally around the world, that would be a big statement. I just don't see him want to go to Juventus, or Juventus want to pay that kind of money.
Who wins? If he goes to Juventus, who's gaining the most here, if it does happen?
Real Madrid, because it gives them freedom to then go and start whatever else the new phase of Real Madrid is going to be. Whatever that new era, Real Madrid, the post-Ronaldo era, it allows you that flexibility to say, you know what, maybe we are in the running for Neymar. Maybe we're looking in a direction in which we can... He's 33 years old. And at some point, we sort of expected this, that at some point the production is going to dip, and it hasn't yet. But you'd rather be jumping ahead of the curve than be cut behind the curve. I find that for Real Madrid, it would be a no-brainer. And believe me, if this is coming from Marca, and Maka knows this very well. This is leaked from. It didn't just come from thin air.
Sure.
It was leaked by somebody, and somebody that has real ties with Real Madrid. It feels like this is a story that will continue to get longer and longer.
Just testing the water, aren't they?
Sure.
They're probably waiting for the fans' reaction to whether they come out and say, no, we, like if Messi ever was to leave Barcelona, there'd be uproar. They're probably just testing out the fans' reaction. On the other side, there'll probably be a story tomorrow saying, we want to bring Neymar in yet again, another story in, just so, you're swapping one for the other. So expect it to run over the quiet period.
And it's interesting now to see what Ronaldo's reaction will be, because he's always, when we've had problems with the club, he said, I'm not loved enough, or the tax situation, everything that went on there.
And I think this is, in my opinion, Ronaldo did exactly the same post-Champions League.
Yep.
He tested the water. He wanted to see what would be the reaction of not just the club, but the fans as well. And now the club are reacting, as Mac O'Reilly points out, as soon as Spain are out of the World Cup, to kind of gauge where they are in getting rid of Cristiano Ronaldo. And how far, and if they do, how far out they have to push the boat to find that replacement. Whether they have to go to 250 or 300 for Neymar, or whether it comes in the form of a Dybala, more affordable in Dybala. So I think this is a little bit of a game of chess by both player and club alike.
Might not be Neymar. Might be Mbappe.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a gunk for Neymar, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If Real Madrid said to, because they've got to keep him happy, Ronaldo said, listen, we're not going to bother with somebody coming in trying to steal the limelight. We're going to bring the youngster in, Mbappe. You're going to stay for a couple of years. You're going to play through the middle. He's going to play wide, and we're going to grim him. That would be some gunk on Neymar, wouldn't it?
I think the only thing about that is that they really want Neymar, I think. The president wants Neymar. That's what I've heard off really good sources within the camp, that he wants to bring Neymar in. There's again, PSG are getting investigated, aren't they, over their fair play and where the money is, and with the Mbappe deal and the Neymar deal, they're going to look into that again. So you don't know whether they're going to have to choose one or the other. I mean, I know who I'd choose if I was PSG. To be one, I'd take Mbappe all day long.
The thing is, if you think Neymar was bad last season, can you imagine Neymar coming back to Paris as a World Cup winner? How unbearable that would be.
Rafa's...
I thought it was just Messi you hated.
There are more.
Such a like-minded word.
Everybody equally.
You hate Messi and now Neymar as well.
And Colombia.
Raf, what does your gut say on this? You get a feeling this is a story that is going to run all summer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're already in mid-July, so almost summer isn't that long to run. But I think you're right. What's happening, I think, is that Real Madrid are testing the water, both on the selling side, seeing just how firm the market is for Ronaldo, but also how determined PSG are to hold on to Neymar. The way that the World Cup is going, with Cavani being a big star and Mbappe being the breakout star, PSG might just start thinking, what, do we really need him? Or maybe with Thomas Tuchel coming in, who I think secretly, this is my personal view, knowing him a little bit, wouldn't be that adverse to Neymar leaving, and instead buying young, hungry players that are a little bit more conducive to his ideas and will not, do whatever they want on the pitch. It might be a big win for PSG to cash in on him now and invest it in 2 or 3 other guys. So I think it looks as if what didn't seem at all possible before the World Cup now becomes a reality, with Neymar really being on the market.
Sure, Neymar won the French title, who is not so high than the Spanish title or the Premier League title, and Ronaldo won the Champions League title, who is a little bit higher than the championship title in the countries. But the highest tournament in this year is a World Cup. And Ronaldo is not anymore in the World Cup. Messi is not anymore in the World Cup. Neymar with Brazil, he has good chance to win the World Cup. But when Mbappe play, how he played against Argentina, why not a new name? I rate this. Okay, maybe he score goals, a couple of goals more. He has 6 goals till now. Maybe he score 1 or another goal more, and maybe England can surprise too in this World Cup. I think we have a couple of candidates to win the best.
Does Neymar's play acting, the rolling around on the ground, count against him
in your opinion? It's sure something what cannot be positive for him. And we don't like to see the acting, especially we speak about fair play. And Neymar is an idol for many kids. He has to stop this acting. I think we need our experienced player, we need a quality player, but not too many old and experienced players. This was too much maybe, because we miss the speed. What England showed me yesterday, the first 70 minutes. And we have the speed player, we have Julian Brandt, we have Leroy Sané, what we missed completely during the World Cup.
Should he have come?
Sure, he has to come back, because this was a big discussion not only in England, this was a big discussion in Germany too. Why Jogi Löw decided against Leroy Sané? He will know it better than me, and he will make a better decision next time. Leroy Sané was one of the best players in the English Premier League, the best young player, and I think we was missing somebody like him with his style to play football, with his speed, with his speed like the English player yesterday. And I think, yes, we will find a way for the future, and Jogi Löw know what he has to do. And Toni Kroos is for me